So this video is going to be about Jamie Foxx because recently he was hospitalized, and as always, this is another scripted energy harvest ritual. And as you can see by this picture right here, he was in the movie Soul in 2020 where he played a character named Joe who was a musician that fell into a coma, and that's a very similar situation that happened to Jamie Foxx. And then on top of that, he also played this other character in a movie called Sleepless, and in this movie he was injured and he was in the hospital. So again, more predictive programming of this character going to the hospital. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys a lot of proof that all of this was fake and scripted. So make sure you guys watch this whole video because there's so much information on this situation. So before I get into the video, I do want to remind you guys that I'm still demonetized on this channel. So if you want to support me, go watch my videos on my second channel after you watch this one and subscribe over there as well. It's called Conscious X2. So you guys can support me by watching my videos over there. That's how you guys can support me for free. And if you want to support me even further, you can subscribe to my Patreon. It's only $5 and you get access to a lot of my content that isn't allowed on YouTube. As you can see, I posted this video about the dangers of fluoride in the tap water, and it was a whole documentary about fluoride and the deadly effects of tap water. And this is a very important video, so I recommend you guys check that out if you haven't. The link to my Patreon is in the description below, and you can subscribe on there for $5, or if you want to support me even more, you can get a higher tier of $10 a month or $15 a month, and you guys get to talk to me on there as much as you like. I've been doing a lot of phone calls to my subscribers on there, so if you guys are interested in that, the link to my Patreon is in the description below. But anyways, before we expose the scripting of this Jamie Foxx situation, you should already know that I need to expose his other characters. As you can see by this side-by-side comparison, it's very obvious that Jamie Foxx's base character is Eddie Kendricks. They look exactly alike right here. They have the same head shape, the same eyebrows, the same eyes, the same nose, the same mouth. These two characters have so many similar features, so it's very obvious that Jamie Foxx's character is based off of this Eddie Kendricks character. And here's some more side-by-side comparisons of Eddie Kendricks and Jamie Foxx, and they look so much alike. This one is very easy to see. And on top of that, they're even connected in gematria. So Jamie Foxx's real name is Eric Marlon Bishop. And if you don't know who Eddie Kendricks is, he was a part of the music group The Temptations, which is a very weird name considering the fact that celebrities' main objective is to tempt you into sinning. And their name is literally The Temptations. But anyways, The Temptations equals 59, just like Jamie Foxx's real name, Eric Bishop, in the same cipher. And then Kendricks from Eddie Kendricks' stage name equals 59, just like Jamie Foxx's real name, Eric Bishop. And one of Jamie Foxx's biggest movies is Django Unchained, where he played this character Django. And this is a very weird movie because it's about slavery. So it's very disgusting that they even make movies like this, because it's like they love reenacting the whole slavery event that happened, and that is honestly still happening to this day. You know, we're still enslaved mentally rather than physically. And to an extent, we're still enslaved physically because of the way society is built. But that's another topic for another video. My point is that he played the role of Django in this movie, and Eddie Kendrick's real name is Eddie James Kendrick. Eddie James Kendrick and Django both equal 111. So what you're going to notice throughout this video is that Jamie Foxx's characters that he plays in his movies are highly connected to this entire situation, along with his other characters as well. So now let's talk about their stage names. So Eddie and Jamie are both 5 letters, and they both end with I and E. So that's another similarity between these two characters. And on top of that, Jamie Foxx was born in 1967, and Eddie Kendricks equals 67. And Jamie Foxx's birthday is December 13th, and Eddie Kendrick's birthday is 4 days later on December 17th. So on top of all those other connections, their birthdays are only 4 days apart. So this one's in plain sight, and I'm pretty sure they even have the same zodiac sign as well. So now let's talk about this next character that they made based off of Jamie Foxx, which is Jimmy Butler. As you can see, Jimmy Butler and Jamie Foxx look identical. Like, this one is completely undeniable. I don't know why the media tries to say that Jimmy Butler looks like Michael Jordan, when in reality he looks identical to Jamie Foxx. But the media is never going to show you the truth. They always amplify the lie, and barely even talk about the truth. So you can't go based off what the media tells you. You have to go based off what you can see with your own two eyes. And clearly, if you watch my channel, you can see that Jimmy Butler looks identical to Jamie Foxx. Here's another comparison of Jimmy Butler and Jamie Foxx when he was younger, and they look exactly alike. And here's another comparison as well. And I found it ironic that Jimmy Butler was wearing this hat right here because Jamie Foxx was wearing a similar hat in the Django movie, and here he is wearing it again. And their side profile is so similar, it's actually really creepy because this one is so much in our face and not that many people notice it for some reason. Here's another comparison from the side, and they look exactly alike. And here's another one as well. So Jimmy Butler has even joked about playing Jamie Foxx in a movie. As you can see, Butler has not been bothered by the comparisons and has even joked that he could play Jamie Foxx in a movie if given the chance. And Jamie Foxx has also spoken out about the same thing. So they've openly joked about how much they look alike. So they put this one right in our face. And again, their names are very similar as well. They're both 5 letters and they both start with a J. And they even sound similar, you know, Jamie and Jimmy. So there's just so many connections with this one. You know, the fact that Jimmy Butler is number 22 for the Miami Heat. And right here you can see Jamie Foxx wearing a 22 jersey. So that's an interesting connection. And on top of that, Jamie Foxx was hospitalized on April 11th, which has a numerology of 22. But it gets even deeper than that because Jamie Foxx played Joe Gardner in the movie Soul, and the two main characters in this movie are Joe Gardner and this soul, which is called 22. So what are the chances of that? He's in a movie called Soul, and he's with this character that's a soul that is called 22 in the movie, and he gets hospitalized with a date numerology of 22, and he's wearing a 22 jersey, and Jimmy Butler is number 22. So there's so many connections with this. And of course, dead equals 22. And in the movie Soul, Jamie Foxx's character Joe dies in the movie, and then he returns to his body. And this is a very similar situation to what happened to Jamie Foxx. Apparently, Jamie Foxx was revived after suffering from a stroke on set, and doctors say he is very lucky to be alive. So he died and then came back to his body the same way that his character did in the movie Soul. So this can't be a coincidence. And on top of that, Jamie and Death both equal 38, 20, and 97, all in the same ciphers. And I really had to expose this because what are the chances that he plays a pianist in this movie Soul? And there's a picture of Jamie Foxx playing the piano right here. And then on top of that, Jamie Foxx's character in the movie goes into a coma and basically is out of his body and then comes back to life at the end of the movie. And then in real life, apparently Jamie Foxx died, but then he was revived and came back to his body. So it's a very similar situation. There's no way this could be a coincidence. And on top of that, he even has this other movie, Sleepless, where he's in the hospital and he's harvesting all of this energy in a similar way that he's now doing in real life. So this is why you shouldn't feel bad for these fallen angel celebrities, because they do not care about you. All they want is your energy, which is why they're always saying to pray for them when they go through these fake scenarios of being in the hospital. Now let's talk about the fourth character in this situation. So randomly one day Jimmy Butler put on these extensions and so many people were confused. You know, there's articles questioning if his dreadlocks are real, but obviously they're not because he randomly had very long dreads one day, which is not natural. But my point here is that a lot of people noticed that he looked very similar to Hotboii, which is a rapper that looks very similar to Jimmy Butler. And as you can see, he has the blonde hair and his hair looks like horns right here. And as you can see, Jimmy Butler with dreads looks a lot like this rapper Hotboii. And his name is very sus because his name is Hotboii. So when you're saying his name, it's like you're calling this boy hot. And it's very disgusting. I'm going to get into the nasty agenda with that in a little bit. But first, let's look at some more side-by-side comparisons of Jimmy Butler and Hotboii because they look exactly alike right here. So he's obviously another one of their characters. So I'm just going to call him Boy because he has a very weird name. So Boy was born in Orlando, Florida. And Jimmy Butler plays for the Miami Heat, which is in Florida. So that's a big connection. And notice how the Miami Heat logo has a halo on it, and the basketball is falling down from heaven. So this logo is symbolizing Lucifer and how he fell from heaven. You know, the halo is a reference to the angels, and then the fact that this basketball is falling down so fast and there's fire behind it, you know, it's referencing Lucifer falling from heaven. And then this rapper has a tattoo that says "Born a Star," and there's 2 stars on his chest right there. And then he also has these 2 stars on his stomach as well. So clearly referencing that he's a fallen angel, because in Isaiah 14:12, Lucifer is referenced as a star that fell from heaven. It says, "How did you come to fall from the heavens, morning star, son of the dawn? How did you come to be cut to the ground, conqueror of nations?" And in the original Hebrew text, he is just referred to as morning star. But in the King James Version, they translated that into Lucifer. As you can see, they put Lucifer instead of morning star. But it's basically the same thing. And I'm going to expose the King James Version towards the end of this video. And I'm also going to make a separate video exposing it more into detail, because the King James Version has so much misinformation. So stay tuned for that video. But anyways, this fallen star reference is obviously a reference to fallen angels. You know, in this verse, it's talking about a morning star that fell from heaven. And the star is an analogy to an angel. That's why fallen star and fallen angels both have the same gematria of 108 and 63. And this is why they have stars on the ground in Hollywood, because it represents the angels that fell from heaven. And now people are idolizing them, which is so backwards. You know, they're on the ground for a reason, because they're under us and they're letting you know in plain sight, but yet most people are still idolizing them. So anyways, Jamie Foxx and Fallen Angel both equal 44 in the same cipher. Again, this is not a coincidence. I showed you guys in multiple videos that all celebrities are fallen angels, and there's so many connections to it. Jamie Foxx and Not a Human have the same gematria of 107, 136, and 46, all in the same ciphers. Again, this is not a coincidence. Celebrities are not real humans. They're playing the role of humans and disguising themselves as a human, but they're not human. Lucifer is a fallen angel, so I'm not surprised that Jamie Foxx with 1X has the same gematria as Lucifer. They both equal 38 and 43. And Lucifer is like the chief commander of all the fallen angels, which is why they all worship Lucifer.
Why do you still do it? Why are you still out here?
Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. I mean, I made a bargain with it, you know, a long time ago, and I'm holding up my end.
What was your bargain?
To get where I am now.
Should I ask who you made the bargain with?
with the chief commander.
On this earth?
And on this earth, and then in the world we can't see.
And Lucifer is the Prince of Darkness, and Prince of Darkness and Jamie Foxx's real name have the same gematria in all 4 ciphers. They both equal 177, 87, and 78, which is the same number reversed, and then 255, and then 93. So anyways, let's get back into this character whose real name is Javari Walker, because his real name Javari Walker is connected to Jimmy Butler. As you can see, they both equal 149. And then his stage name also matches up with their base character, Eddie James Kendrick. They both equal 78 and 111, because Eddie Kendricks is the character that these other 3 characters are based upon. And then Javari Walker and Jamie Foxx's real name both equal 59 in the same cipher. And his last name is Walker, which is an interesting connection because Jamie Foxx has a song called Street Walker. And if you notice, both of their stage names have 2 letters at the end that are the same. So Foxx has 2 X's and Boy has 2 I's. And it's very unnecessary because they could have spelled it with 1 letter. And they do this on purpose because when you spell their name right, you know, with a singular letter instead of both, you notice that it connects to even more stuff. So Hotboii with 1 I matches up with Bishop, which is Jamie Foxx's last name, in all 4 ciphers. So now let's talk about this boy word that he has in his rap name, and many other rappers have it as well. And keep in mind, these rappers are portraying a very masculine male, but if you notice, the word boy with an I is slang for a fruity male. You know, a male that likes men. I underlined it right here. And the term boy with an I is also used to denote a number of other orientations, like a boyish female that dates women, or a young transformer man, so a young inverted man, or a younger man that likes other men and has many feminine characteristics. And this reminds me of Playboi Carti. He's probably the biggest celebrity with that boy in his name that is spelled with an I. It's in plain sight that they're spelling boy with an I because they're letting you know that they're inverted. That's why Playboi Carti does so many feminine things. You know, I made a whole video about that. And with this picture, you can clearly tell that he's not human. And this is a real picture, by the way. So this also explains why Jamie Foxx is a very feminine character as well. Jamie Foxx, Jimmy Butler, and Hotboii all have very feminine characteristics. Right here, Jamie Foxx is literally dressed like a woman in plain sight, and people just think this is a joke. But this is very disturbing. Even his name, Jamie Foxx, is a woman's name, and he admitted this. Notice in this article, they called him a rising star when referring to Jamie Foxx because he's a fallen angel. So that's why they reference them as stars all the time. But anyways, the rising star started to use androgynous stage names, and that means that these stage names can be either male or female. You know, they like to blur the line and use these names that can either be male or female. So he used these inverted stage names so he would get called up earlier. Eventually he chose Jamie, a gender neutral name. So he openly admitted that his stage name is a gender neutral name, and he purposely chose this name because it's gender neutral. Because every celebrity is inverted, and this character pushes a very nasty agenda. As you can see, Jamie Foxx and this phrase of a rapper that likes men have the same gematria in 3 ciphers. They both equal 107, 136, and 46. And although Jamie Foxx is not really a rapper, he is under the genre of hip-hop, comedy, soul, and R&B. And it's kind of ironic that he's under the genre soul, considering that he has a movie called Soul. But anyways, moving along. Now that I showed you the feminine agenda with Hotboii and Jamie Foxx, let's talk about the feminine agenda with Jimmy Butler, because he plays for the Miami Heat, and one of their logos is literally pink, white, and blue in plain sight, which is clearly a reference to the inverted flag. As you can see, it's the same colors. And here's a video where Jimmy Butler has his shirt off, and Kyle Lowry comes in the room, and this whole video is sus.
You talk without the what you call it.
Exactly. I would take my shirt off, but I don't want to embarrass him.
For me,
I really got it next to you like this.
you do have to deal with this.
Hey, you could.
Man, yeah. First of all,
Hold on, I ain't gonna lie. You could at least wax this right here.
Is there?
All right, come on. What y'all got, man? Come on. Yeah, listen. All the questions going to you anyway.
Kyle. So, yeah.
All right.
So out of all these characters, Jamie Foxx is the main one that pushed this very feminine agenda. Right here, him and Martin Lawrence both dressed up as women. And this is so disgusting because people just laugh this stuff off, but they're literally dressing up as women. And this is the person that people are praying to right now so that he can recover, even though he literally pushed all of these agendas on us for many years. And it's like people just forget that he even did all this stuff. But anyways, the last and final character in this Jamie Foxx line of characters is Lil Baby. If you guys remember, I made a video about this, and as you can see, they look so much alike right here. So I made this video about a year ago. It's about to be 2 years since I made this video, and at the time I didn't know that Jamie Foxx had all these other characters, and I didn't know who Lil Baby's actual characters were, but they definitely mixed Jamie Foxx's character when they were creating the Lil Baby character. And I explained that in my Lil Baby videos, because when you look at certain comparisons, you can tell that he doesn't really look like Jamie Foxx as much as Jimmy Butler and Eddie Kendricks do. So I made another video explaining this situation with this Lil Baby character, because his base character is Maya Angelou and he's mixed with Jamie Foxx. So make sure you guys go check that video out. And Maya Angelou is also Craig Mack, and I made a video about that as well. So I'll put a link to these videos in the description. So now let's expose this whole quote-unquote medical complication that happened with Jamie Foxx. So notice how they put quotes around medical complication as if this is sarcastic or this is not real. They openly do this in plain sight in these articles to let us know that these events are staged and not actually happening. So on April 12th, they said that Jamie Foxx was hospitalized for quote-unquote medical complication. So this phrase medical complication is obviously scripted because they put quotes around it. So medical complication and Jamie Foxx's full name, Eric Marlon Bishop, have the same gematria of 177 and 87 in the same ciphers. And on top of that, the Jesuit order also equals 177 in the same cipher as well. So we can see who's behind this. And even Jamie Foxx's base character, Eddie James Kendrick, has the same gematria as medical complication as well. They both equal 78 and 87, 336 and 111 in the same ciphers. So even his base character is connected to this situation that's happening to him right now. And ironically, Eddie Kendricks also died from a medical complication because he died from lung cancer at age 52, which is kind of ironic because Jamie Foxx is 55 right now. But anyways, a week later they started saying, "Pray for Jamie," and again they put it in quotes. So every time they put something in quotes like this, it's always connected to something in gematria. Then they said that he was recuperating, and they put it in quotes once again. So this is also connected because Pray for Jamie, recuperating, and Society of Jesus all have the same gematria in the same ciphers. So Pray for Jamie and recuperating equals 65, and Society of Jesus equals 56, and then they all equal 187. So they said that Jamie Foxx was hospitalized in Georgia. Jamie Foxx and Georgia both equal 44 in the same cipher. And then his daughter Corinne Foxx shared on Instagram Wednesday night that her father Jamie Foxx experienced a medical complication. So they purposely did this on Wednesday so that it can be scripted in a certain way. And Wednesday and hospital have the same gematria of 100, 37, and 44 in the same ciphers. And then Wednesday and hospital equal 44. So that's another connection for the 44s. But there's even more because he's a comedian, and comedian is also 44, and Kill is 44. Jamie Foxx's daughter announced that he was in the hospital on April 12th. And her birthday is February 15. So from the date of her announcing Jamie Foxx's hospitalization to the date of her next birthday is exactly 44 weeks. So that's another 44. And Jamie Foxx is from Terrell, Texas. And Terrell, Texas equals 44. And I noticed that Lil Baby just dropped a music video. And look at what he's doing in the cover. Another 44 in plain sight. And notice how he even calls himself Lil Baby Official 4PF. And then Jamie Foxx's daughter, Corinne, has the same gematria as medical complication. They both equal 111. And keep in mind, she's the one that said that her father had a quote-unquote medical complication. So that's why she's connected to that term. So let's get a little bit deeper with this because the devil is in the details. They purposely put all of these details on here for a reason. She shared on Instagram Wednesday night. Wednesday night equals 67. And Jamie Foxx was born in 1967. And his base character, Eddie Kendricks, equals 67. So his daughter announced it on April 12th, but this actually took place on April 11th because he was hospitalized on April 11th, but she posted it the day after. So both of these dates are going to be connected. But let's talk about this April 11th date. April 11th also equals 67. And he was in the movie Soul. Soul equals 67. And the initial release for Soul was October 11th, 2020. So from October 11th, 2020 to April 11th, 2023, the date of his hospitalization, is exactly 30 months. And the character he played in the movie is Joe Gardner. And Joe equals 30 as well. And then Jamie Foxx's last name, Bishop, also equals 30. So I noticed that he played in this movie as a football player, and he's wearing the number 13 throughout this movie. As you can see, he has the number 13. And every time they have these numbers, it's always for a reason. So he's wearing the number 13. Soul equals 13. And he played in this movie Sleepless, where he was in the hospital. And Sleepless was released on January 13th, 2017. So that's another 13. And then on top of that, Sleepless equals 31, which is 13 in reverse. So now let's get back into the scripting of this entire situation. So his daughter made a post about him getting hospitalized on April 12. The numerology of April 12, 2023 is 59. And his real name, Eric Bishop, equals 59, just like his other character, Kendricks, which also equals 59. And notice how she shared this on Instagram. And they had to point that out because that's also scripted with the situation. Instagram equals 102. And she made this post on Instagram on April 12th, which is the 102nd day of the year. So that's another 102. And then his base character, Eddie Kendrick, also equals 102. And 102 backwards is 201, just like Order of Illuminati, the Freemasonic Order, and then the Jesuit Order, and the Holy Bible. So now let's talk about this Holy Bible that King James made in 1611, because I really need to expose this Bible, because for some reason a lot of Christians believe that this is the Word of God, as they call it. But this Bible is just so full of contradictions, and there's so many scriptures in this Bible that they've actually added and edited from the original Hebrew text, and I'm gonna prove that in a separate video. But for now, let's expose King James because he's very connected to this Jamie Foxx situation. So King James was openly a Freemason. Keep that in mind. If you believe that the King James version of the Bible is good and there's nothing wrong with it, really question why was King James a Freemason if he's over here making a Bible for the Creator. Obviously, that contradicts because Freemasons worship Lucifer, so there's no way that this Bible could be the truth. He purposely made this Bible for an agenda, and as you can see, here's the proof that King James was a Freemason, and you can pause this and read the whole thing, but I'll just read the part where they talk about the lodge that he was in. So on the west wall of the lodge hall used by Lodge Schoon on Perth number 3 in Perth, Scotland. And keep in mind, he's the king of Scotland, and Freemasonry is based in Scotland. You know, they have the Scottish Rite Freemasonry. On the west wall of this lodge in Scotland can be found a mural depicting James VI, which is King James, kneeling at their altar at his initiation. Kneeling at their altar at his initiation. Do you guys know what that means? Initiation means he was initiated into Freemasonry at this Freemasonry lodge in Scotland. The oldest existing record of the lodge, called the Mutual Agreement of December 24, 1658, records that James was entered Freemason and Fellowcraft of the Lodge of Scone on April 15, 1601. And keep in mind, when did he make the Bible? 1611. So 10 years after he became a Freemason, he published the King James Freemasonry Bible. So I do not recommend that anyone read the King James version of the Bible. I know a lot of you guys ask me what is the best version of the Bible to read, and I highly recommend you guys read the Brenton Septuagint. If you want to read the best translated scriptures, the Brenton Septuagint is the best one. It doesn't include any fake scriptures that were added by this Freemason King James. So I highly recommend that version. And you don't even have to buy it because Bible Hub has it on their website. So you can also read it for free on there. But yeah, man, it's crazy how King James was a Freemason, but yet people really love his Bible. So King James also appointed William Shaw as Master of the Work and Warden General in 1583 with the commission of reorganizing the Masonic craft. Why do you think they call it craft? Because it's witchcraft. Freemasons are Luciferians in disguise. They do witchcraft in disguise. So yeah, King James was initiated April 15, 1601. And you guys can look this up yourself. This is facts. So now it makes sense why King James Bible and All-Seeing Eye have the same gematria, because Freemasons love the All-Seeing Eye. King James Bible equals 119 and 56, just like All-Seeing Eye in the same ciphers. And if you turn that 119 in reverse, you get 911. And you guys know that there was a big staged event with that number. And on top of that, King James Bible, Church of Satan, All Seeing Eye, all equal 56 in the same cipher. This is not a coincidence, you guys. So now let's talk about how King James is connected to this Jamie Foxx situation. I just had to expose King James because many people are attached to his Bible, but he's clearly a Freemason. Septuagint was made before the King James version of the Bible and before Christianity even existed, because Christianity is a new religion. You know, the Hebrew Israelites in the Old Testament were not Christians. They were Hebrew Israelites. So the reason why King James is connected to this Jamie Foxx situation is because Jamie Foxx played the role of Jamie King in the Jamie Foxx show, and clearly Jamie King is a reference to King James. Jamie King equals 56, just like the character he played in Soul, Joe Gardner, which also equals 56, and his other character's real name is Javari, and Javari also equals 56, and then his other character, Jimmy Butler, his first name Jimmy equals 65, which is 56 in reverse. So let's talk about this connection that Jimmy Butler has to Jamie Foxx's hospitalization, because Jamie Foxx was hospitalized on April 11th, and Jimmy Butler played against the Hawks on April 11th, so the same day. And this is clearly a connection because he played against the Atlanta Hawks, and Jamie Foxx was hospitalized in Atlanta that same night. And notice how Jimmy Butler played for exactly 38 minutes. Jamie equals 38 and stroke equals 38, and they were saying that he had a stroke. And that date numerology of that game and his hospitalization is also 38. And then recently his daughter said that he's out of the hospital and playing pickleball. And of course, pickleball equals 38 and 83, just like Jamie Foxx with one X. And now another way that King James is connected to this is the fact that LeBron James was sending prayers to Jamie Foxx after medical emergency. And LeBron James' name on social media is King James. So of course he's going to be connected to this. And King James, aka LeBron James, played against the Timberwolves on the same night that Jamie Foxx was hospitalized. As you can see, the Lakers played that same night. And King James equals 55, and Jamie Foxx is currently 55 at the time of his hospitalization. And Fallen Angel equals 55. Lucifer God equals 55 because Lucifer is their god, and God is a very pagan word to describe the creator, which is why God and Satan are both 55. You know, I prefer to use the term the creator or the most high or his actual name, which is Yahweh, when I refer to him rather than God, because God is a pagan term that they've made and it does not mean what you think it means. So be very careful which words you're using, because when they say God, they're referring to Lucifer. That's why every time they get an award, they thank God, because they're thanking Lucifer. And then Jamie Foxx is from Terrell, Texas, which also equals 55. And Corinne Foxx's birthday is February 15. From her recent birthday on February 15, 2023, to the date of his hospitalization is exactly 55 days. So again, another 55. And Jamie Foxx and his daughter announced that they are going to do a We Are Family game show. We Are Family also equals 55. And she announced his hospitalization on April 12, but 90% of the articles came out the next day, early in the morning on April 13th. So April 13th is the main date that people saw the news. And the 13th of April has the same numbers as Jamie Foxx's real name. They both equal 255 and 93. And notice how there was many articles saying that his friends and family are preparing for the worst. And again, they put preparing for worst in quotes once again to let us know that it's scripted. And preparing for the worst equals 107, just like Jamie Foxx. And the occult also equals 107. And preparing for the worst in the Latin cipher equals 1811, just like the Society of Jesus. So now let's talk about how fake this entire situation is, and it's right in our face. So pay attention to these headlines. This is the order of the headlines. On April 12, they said he was hospitalized for quote-unquote medical complication, and his family says he's recovering. Keep that in mind. because 3 weeks later on May 3rd, they started to tell people to pray for Jamie. But why would they have to pray for him if he's recovering? And keep in mind, this pray for Jamie situation happened May 3rd at 1 a.m. So 11 hours later, that same day, Jamie Foxx posted on Instagram that he's feeling blessed. As you can see, he posted this and he said, appreciate all the love, feeling blessed, even though they were just saying to pray for him. And this was on May 3rd. So 1 week later, the headline started to say that Jamie Foxx's friends and family are preparing for the worst after medical emergency. But he was just saying that he's feeling good, and they just said that he was recovering. So all of this contradicts, because one day after this, on May 12th, his daughter reveals that he is out of the hospital and playing pickleball. So this whole time people are praying for Jamie and saying that his family is preparing for the worst. But according to his daughter, he's out playing pickleball and he's not even in the hospital, because she said, my dad has been out of the hospital for weeks, recuperating. She wrote Friday on her Instagram story, in fact, he was playing pickleball yesterday. And this happened on May 12th. And she said yesterday he was playing pickleball. But yesterday, in the media, they were saying that his family was preparing for the worst. So you see how they get everybody's emotions back and forth, thinking he's good and then he's bad and then he's good and bad. So they get people's energy riled up to harvest all of their energy, when in reality, nothing is even wrong with his character because he's not even a real person. And then 3 days later, his family says that he's doing physical rehab in Chicago and his family is by his side. So how is he doing physical rehab now if he was just playing pickleball? You know, if somebody is playing pickleball, clearly they can walk, they can run, they can move around. So why is he in physical rehab now? You know, all of this contradicts. It's so obvious that it's fake and staged, and they're going to keep drawing it out to harvest even more energy. So I hope at this point you can see how fake this is. And on top of that, they used all of this attention to announce their new show where they're going to program and brainwash more people. And apparently it's called We Are Family and it's coming in 2024. And his daughter posted this, and notice how she said, the Foxx family is headed back to our home on Fox TV and we can't wait for this new show. And she put a Fox emoji. So I found it weird that her real name is Corinne Foxx, because Jamie Foxx's real name is not Jamie Foxx. As I showed you guys earlier, his real name is Eric Bishop. So why did she take the term Foxx as her last name when that's not even her dad's real last name? And it's all for symbolic purposes, because Foxx is connected to demons, and I'm going to show you guys. So Foxx, fallen angels, and April 11th, all equal 45. And there's even a fake news channel called Fox News who also reported on this Jamie Foxx situation. And if you guys remember 9 years ago, there was this viral video called What Does the Fox Say? So again, another Fox reference. And here's a video of GloRilla not knowing what a fox is. And this video went viral as well. So again, another Fox reference.
We've had people say that they hate foxes taking a poo in their garden. We've had people say also...
Foxes?
Foxes, yeah.
What's the...
Foxes. Oh my gosh.
The animal fox?
The animal, yeah.
Y'all got them out here?
Yeah, we do. Have you not seen one yet? Come to South London, hun. Come to South London. We'll show you. They're all...
That's normal?
I'm telling you, they own the streets here.
So they like dogs?
Yeah, but just not domesticated. Although you will find some really weird British people who will pet a fox.
So y'all not
definitely
scared of them?
They howl at night as well. So like you're trying to go to bed and at 2 a.m. it's outside. You don't get foxes?
So they orange?
They are orange with a white tail sometimes. Or I might just be thinking of Basil Brush, to be fair.
I can't believe it.
I know. I can't believe that you can't believe it.
I can't believe it. Never even knew foxes was real.
So I looked at a fox and I noticed foxes are orange. Orange equals 33, just like masonry. But then I noticed that Fox equals 666 in the standard cipher, which is not a coincidence because in Chinese mythology, foxes are creatures usually capable of shape-shifting. And that's an analogy to fallen angels because fallen angels are also shape-shifting into these humans that we see on the world stage, and they play these roles as celebrities. So people are right when they call them shapeshifters, but the problem is they're calling them reptilians, which is not really true. But there's an analogy there because people compare Lucifer and fallen angels to the serpent in the Adam and Eve story, and serpents are snakes, which are also reptiles. So that's where that analogy comes from. But anyways, as you can see, there's also the Foxx spirit takes variant forms with different meanings, powers, characteristics, and shapes, including Huxian, which means Fox immortal, Hushin, which means Fox god, Husheng, which means Fox saint, Hu Wang, which means Fox king, Hu Yao, which means Fox demon, and Jiu Wei Yu, which means nine-tailed fox. And they showed a picture of the nine-tailed fox spirit, and this instantly reminded me of the nine-tailed fox from Naruto, where he literally transforms and shapeshifts into a nine-tailed fox demon, and he's this huge orange fox that looks very demonic. And I'm gonna make a separate video exposing anime and Naruto specifically because so many people love anime, but it's very demonic. And again, some more celebrities with this Fox in their name. You have Megan Fox, Vivica A. Fox, Michael J. Fox, Rick Fox, Matthew Fox, Samantha Fox, Edward Fox, Emilia Fox, Rachel G. Fox, and the list goes on. And ironically, Jamie Foxx and Vivica A. Fox were both in the same disgusting movie. So now let's talk about how connected Jamie Foxx is to the occult. As you can see, Jamie Foxx and the occult both equal 107, 136, and 46. And he does so many occultic hand gestures. As you can see, he's doing the pyramid in plain sight. Here he is doing it again. And even at a younger age, he was doing it as well. And then here he is doing it again. And he just has many pictures doing this in plain sight, man. It's crazy. And this one really disgusted me because he openly did the devil horns with both of his hands on the cover of the second season of the Jamie Foxx show. And then right here, he's doing the hidden hand. And notice the pyramid symbolism in the background. Then he openly did one-eye symbolism right here in this video. And articles said, Jamie Foxx jokingly nurses swollen eye, quote-unquote, once again, while playing down claim he was attacked during quote-unquote mass brawl. And here he is healing his eye apparently, and clearly doing one-eye symbolism. And right now on his Instagram profile picture, he's doing one-eye symbolism along with his daughter. So don't you guys find it weird that at the time of all this happening, him and his daughter are both doing one-eye symbolism on their profile pictures? Hers is a little bit more hidden. You know, she has a little shadow covering one eye. And then right here, he's slightly covering one of his eyes. And this is still one-eye symbolism. You know, the emphasis on one eye. And notice how both of these pictures are also in black and white. You know, that's not a coincidence for the black and white symbolism. And then one of his most famous movies is Django, where he's riding this horse. And horses are heavily referenced in the scriptures. And apparently he even has his own horse as well. So Zechariah 1:8 talks about a vision that Zechariah has about horses. So he said, I had a vision in the night, and behold, a man riding on a red horse, and he stood among the myrtle trees that were in a ravine, and behind him there were red, brown, and white horses. So the rest of this chapter talks about what these horses mean and what they do. So it's very interesting. But anyways, last thing I want to talk about is Jamie Foxx's messed up hairline that he used to have, but somehow, magically, he has a way better hairline now. And it doesn't make sense. You know, how did he have this terrible looking hairline back then? And all of a sudden, it's just fixed and perfectly fine. You know, it doesn't make sense. He literally changed his entire hairline. And this is what celebrities do. They're always editing their vessel. And most people don't even notice. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Don't pray for Jamie. Don't pray for any celebrities, because they're all evil, and the Most High Yahweh told us this in Isaiah 14:20. He's talking about Lucifer and his seed, which is everyone that follows him, including the fallen angel celebrities. He said, "As a garment defiled with blood shall not be pure, so neither shall you be pure, because you have destroyed my land and have slain my people. You shall not endure forever. You're an evil seed." And this verse is from the Brenton Septuagint, which is a way better translation than the King James Version of the Bible, because King James edited this verse purposely to change the narrative of this verse. Because in this verse, the Creator Yahweh is telling Lucifer and his seed that he is not pure because he has destroyed my land, so Yahweh's land, and he has slain my people, which is the Israelites. And then Yahweh says, "You shall not endure forever. You're an evil seed." And it says thou, which means you or your. And then look at what King James Version says on the same exact verse. It says, "Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land." So thy means your land. You see how he's contradicting? He's literally twisting this entire verse, and he's saying that Lucifer destroyed his own land. And then it says, "and slain thy people," so killed his people, which is completely wrong. In the actual scriptures, it says that Lucifer has destroyed my land and my people, which means Yahweh's land and his people. But King James switched the narrative, and he's saying that Lucifer destroyed his own land and his own people, which doesn't make any sense. Why would he be in trouble for destroying his own land and his own people? So it's in plain sight that King James is trying to change the narrative in his Bible. So don't read the King James Version of the Bible. I highly recommend the Brenton Septuagint. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. I'm going to be making a separate video exposing King James Bible even further, because there's way more edits that he's done and changes that he's made to the original scriptures. And he's even added verses as well. So I'll expose that in a separate video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to drop a like, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications, subscribe to my second channel, and subscribe to my Patreon. I highly recommend you guys watch my new video on Patreon. It's a really good documentary. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and shalom.